What's good, everybody? Welcome into the Daily Coach and Company podcast. We do this show to add to our daily content coming out of Coach and Company and Weekday Wagers. If you have not subscribed to our Coach and Company YouTube page, please do that. It really helps us grow as we are separating all of our content from BTT to Coach and Company. Now, if you're listening to the podcast for the very first time, yes, we are a sports betting brand, but we're also just a sports brand. And we like to talk about topics that may not have anything to do with betting, but also sometimes we talk about topics that may not have anything to do with sports. And today, and we never go longer than 20 or 30 minutes, today and lately, it's been happening a lot. And I wonder if those of you out there have been going through the same thing. When you start to get to a certain age, and I am smack dab in the middle of middle age, from 40 to 60, I consider middle age. And in basketball, anyway, there every decade or so, your favorite players are the biggest stars. They come and they go. And if we're lucky, they get to 12, 13, 14 years. But 10 years is kind of when you see them come and go. In the 80s, we had Magic and Larry Bird. In the 90s, it was all about Michael Jordan. In the 2000s, you had Shaq and Kobe. And then the start of the LeBron James era. And then LeBron still playing in 2025. And now you've got a new breed of superstars coming through. Same as in the NFL, you could rip players throughout the last 30 or 40 years. I am also a big TV show and movie guy. And when I'm sitting here in the office, I always have the TV on. I'm always watching something new. And there are certain actors that over the years have played a significant role in our lives. And when we think back to certain memories, we think about certain shows. And now there has been many names that have come and have gone, always for different reasons, whether it is cancer, whether it's heart disease, whether it's an accident, whatever it is. I've had a lot of people that I've known or those that I admire that have come and passed away. So it kind of messes with my head a little bit as I'm very, very aggressive now in my personal and professional life because I want to leave something. I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave when people say, man, he was a really good dude and he really tried to help people. And yesterday, as we were in the middle of our 5 shows, it comes across my phone that one of my favorite actors from one of my favorite TV shows from when I was a kid passed away. Malcolm Jamal Warner. And he was only 54 years old. So he was only a few years older than I am. And as that news kind of hit me, your mind, and the mind's a crazy, crazy thing. And your mind can bring back memories. It can make you feel good. It make you feel sad. It can make you feel elated. It can make you feel depressed. And when I stopped yesterday, because I'm in here a lot by myself, and COVID was a really good thing for me professionally because I get to work from home. I have a home studio. I don't have to drive into downtown LA anymore. But also, it leaves me alone with my thoughts a lot. And so, yesterday, I thought a lot about Thursday nights when I was growing up and The Cosby Show, Family Ties, Cheers. That was the 90 minutes that really kind of shaped our lives as kids. That's what me and my family would sit down and watch every single week. And Malcolm Jamal Warner became kind of everybody's big brother. He was the guy that was always trying to do things, had the big smile. And then as he got out of the Cosby Show in the mid 90s, he still didn't stop. And there's another show that he was on that I've watched almost every single episode of, and that is The Residents. And now you can see that show on Paramount Plus, I believe. Also, they've leased it out to Netflix. He was also an incredible musician. He was just talented and he never stopped going. So as I looked at his career yesterday, I thought to myself, that is somebody that I would love to emulate because I also believe that you're never too old to take a left turn. You're never too old to start new things or start being a leader in new ways. And that's kind of what um, I'm going through right now, personally, professionally, with all of the shows that we do at PTT Studios. And so it really hit me hard yesterday. And did it hit you hard? Because it told me, and he died tragically in a drowning in the ocean on vacation. and I think he was with his family, which, God, that would really be tough. He posted a video 3 days ago on his IG, and his only message was to deliver a smile today. He said, haven't been on here in a while. Just wanted to let you know that a smile can go a long way in somebody else's day, in their life. And that was the last thing that he posted, or at least that was made public. So rest in peace, Malcolm Jamal Warner. And you gave us a lot of great nights and a lot of great shows throughout the last 30 some odd years. Topic number 2 today, and we are starting to get into, and today was day number 2 in our NFL content, as we're doing 34 days to the NFL. And the reason we're doing that is because NFL is king, and training camps are starting to open this week. And I don't have my notes in front. Oh, here they are. So we did the Chiefs today. The rest of the week are the Ravens. Tomorrow, Texans on Thursday, and the Steelers on Friday. So I don't think there's ever been a time in the NFL that there's been more interest, good and bad, than there is right now. And 34 shows really didn't seem like too many to really get everybody ready for the NFL season. Fantasy football is ginormous. NFL sports betting is ginormous. Now, it's being pushed to the um, offshore books, or the global books, as we call them now, because here in the United States, a lot of the rules and regulations that have been passed recently for the domestic books, like a DraftKings or a BetMGM, they have really been hamstrung by some of the new laws put into place, pushing sports bettors either back to the old days of having an actual bookie, which I would never go back to that, or playing with an offshore book, the likes of MyBookie, a bookmaker, Bovada. There's a lot of them. And I think they're going to see their businesses really take an upswing in the next 6 months to a year because of these laws. So when you talk about NFL content, and you talk about teams that have come and gone as far as being good, it's really, really hard, because we're going through the schedule right now with our content on the Daily Show. And the way the NFL does their scheduling, I actually love. And it's part of the reason that Tom Brady played Peyton Manning every single year. That if you have a first place team, then the next season you're going to play a first place schedule. It's the main reason why teams don't sustain greatness over the course of 5 to 10 years. It's why what Tom Brady did with the New England Patriots is nothing short of remarkable. Because every single year they're playing a first place schedule. Well, the same goes for Patrick Mahomes. Same goes for Josh Allen. Same goes for Lamar Jackson, because they have consistently won their division. The Bills, who we started off with yesterday, they have won 5 straight AFC East titles. That coincides with the departure from New England of one Tom Brady. See what I'm saying? That certain players can make all the difference. Certain teams, if they dominate their division, then they make it to the playoffs every single year. But every single year, their schedule continues to get tougher and tougher and tougher, because their team, if they keep that core intact, is going to get older and older and older. Well, Patrick Mahomes is getting to his late 20s, but he has said that he would love to have a career that mirrors that of Tom Brady, who played all the way until he was 45. So if Mahomes can stay healthy, he still has 16, 17 years left. Conversely, though, Travis Kelce, who obviously plays tight end, and you cannot play as late as 45, or at least nobody really has, he lost 35 to 40 pounds in the offseason. I think he realized that all the criticism that came from a lot of us in the media, including myself, that last year he was slower. He had lost a step. And when those stories start to come out, then either you retire or you do something about it. Well, he decided to do something about it, because he knew that all the jet setting to chase around his boo, Tay-Tay, he couldn't do that this year. So, of course, here come the headlines in the Inquirer, the Star Magazine. Oh, trouble in paradise. as Travis Kelce isn't following Tay around to all of her final concerts on her tour. Well, no, maybe this year he didn't want to go to Vegas 5 times between February and July like he did in 2024. Maybe he didn't want to go to Australia or Japan or Europe like he did in 2024 to watch Tay perform. There comes a time that when you are a star, the likes of a Travis Kelce, him and his PR team have set him and his brother up for a post NFL career. Jason Kelce, they've kind of slowed it down just a little bit. When he came out of the Eagles last year, it was Jason Kelce everywhere, every commercial, everything. And I think he realized, hey, if he's going to be in TV for the next 30 to 35 years, we can't have him on everything that ESPN does or every commercial that is thrown our way. Same with Travis Kelce. So they've got their podcast money, which is reportedly $100 million over 3 years. So they're sharing $33 million. Jason Kelce's wife has a very popular podcast as well. So Kelce is set for his post NFL life, but he had such a sour taste in his mouth last year. Some of the biggest games, he had 1 catch, 2 catches. He's used to 9, 10 for 80, 90, 100 yards. He didn't do that in the biggest games. And the one people remember the most is, of course, the Super Bowl against the Eagles when they were down 34-0 before they even sniffed. So great athletes, they either get going or they're done. And Kelce, at least from a in-shape perspective, he's going to get going. They have a very difficult schedule, however. Very difficult schedule. The big games that we talked about today were Eagles in week 2. It's a 4:25 game, and that is in Kansas City. And that's a big deal because remember now, the number 1 seed has never been more important than it is in today's NFL. It saves you a week. If you can somehow have more than a 1-game advantage for that number 1 seed heading into week 17 or week 18, now there are 17 games, excuse me. That extra week is huge. It is huge. So now teams are putting a lot more investment in getting to that number 1 seed so they can rest their players at least a week, maybe 2. So when you have at the Chargers, technically that game is in Brazil. I love the fact that we have one of our away games not in the stadium for the team. So whether it's Europe or Brazil, I don't care. We don't lose a home game. That's key. I don't know if the NFL makes up for that the next year, but to me, that'd be kind of a big deal if I lose a home game and I only have 7 or 8 as compared to the old days when it was 8-8, and then you know what I'm saying. So the Chiefs, if you look at it, is this the end of their run? You know, they have Rashee Rice, who's got to spend 30 days in jail. I'm assuming they're going to do that around the football season. We've seen other instances where guys have a jail sentence, and since it's a non-violent crime, they let them wait so they don't lose money working. Just because he's a football player doesn't make him any different than a truck driver or somebody else. And they will try to not make you lose money if they can help it. So I would assume that it won't be until January. So he'll be back. Then you've got other key players that are back, but you don't have a bunch of really good young guys except for Worthy on the outside. Rice certainly isn't old yet, but he's coming off a pretty significant injury. So is he going to stay healthy? That remains to be seen. But you look at it, Philadelphia, they have at home. Baltimore, they have also in Kansas City. The 3 around that in the first 5 weeks, Chargers, Giants, Jacksonville, and in between you got the Eagles and the Ravens. So they really can't complain about the start of their season. And then they come home for 3 straight home games, which is not normal. You normally get 2 at the most. Those 3 games, tough. Lions, Raiders, Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, and Washington. And Jalen Daniels coming to town. I always call him Jalen Williams for some reason. And then after those 3 home games, you go to Buffalo, and then you've got your bye week. So it's going to be a tough year. And as a resident Chiefs fan, it is, and I can't even believe I'm saying this because I used to despise when I was at ESPN. I despised Patriots fans because they would complain if they had a 11-5 record. Oh, We don't have the number one seed. Oh, and now I kind of find myself in that world. I always said when I started my local TV career in Kansas City, that was my dream. I did not have the self confidence to think that I would be good enough to get to ESPN. So I thought if I can get to Kansas City and I can cover my favorite teams, the Royals and the Chiefs and the Kansas Jayhawks, I'm good. And I did that by the time I was 22, 23 years old. And I got to work with one of my heroes, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champion, Lenny Dawson. Rest in peace. He was 64 years old when I got to my station in Kansas City, Channel 9. And I remember when I got the offer to go to the WWE, my news director said, "You're an idiot. I'm going to make you the number one guy here when Lenny is done." That was in 1999. Well, Lenny didn't retire until 2016. So I would have been the weekend anchor for 17 years. No, thank you. But during those 17 years, we did nothing on the field. My dream was just to have a playoff run, just get us into an AFC championship. And now that's where our season either ends or gets catapulted. And it's not good enough for me. It's not good enough for Chiefs fans. We've got to reset our expectations. I had a talk with, sometimes I'll stand in front of the mirror and I'll have a talk with myself, whether it's motivation, whatever the case might be. And I had to recently say, wait a second, you're a spoiled brat. You go to the AFC Championship. Patrick Mahomes, as a starter, has never not gone to at least the AFC Championship game. I think it's 7 years in a row, maybe 8. Think about that. As a fan, and I'm one of the biggest fans there is, sports are everything to me. I do not understand people that do not have sports as a part of their life. I don't get it. What do you do with your day? But as a fan, you also have to temper expectations. And I've been around long enough and I've done this at a high level enough to understand that there's going to be cycles. You're going to be good some days, and then you're going to lose those players or lose your quarterback. And everything changed when we got Patrick Mahomes. We know that. If you don't have a good quarterback and if you don't have two, you're probably not going to make it very far. You've got to have two quarterbacks now. Way too many guys get hurt, including number 15. So I'm not sure if you realized it, but Gardner Minshew, a career backup, the Dan Orlovsky of the 2020s, has signed to be our backup. Makes me feel pretty good, to be honest with you. So we will continue that the rest of the week. And that's been a lot of fun the first 2 days doing the Bills and the Chiefs. But the other story today is also the Cincinnati Bengals. They just can't seem to get out of their own way. And as they start to, almost all teams are reporting this week for training camp. But it came out today, Adam Schefter reporting from ESPN, that Trey Hendrickson will not report to camp. He led the league the last 2 years in sacks. He's arguably the best defensive lineman in football. And you're not going to sign this guy? He said nothing for the first 3 months after the season. He wanted to keep it quiet. He wanted to stay in Cincinnati. He wanted to be the guy. But the Bengals historically have always done this. They have a rookie, first rounder, Shamar Stewart. And they've changed some rules. There's some verbiage in the contract that he doesn't feel comfortable with. Now, other teams have done it. Not all of them, but other teams have done it. And I won't get into all the mundane details, but he's the only first-round pick that hasn't signed yet. Is it a coincidence that it's the Cincinnati Bengals? I don't think so. And then in the offseason, Burrow has already had his deal for a couple of years. Jamar Chase got his money. Then you have who's the other wide receiver? It's smoke and mirrors. The other one, look into the. I don't have the name off the top of my head. I know this three-headed monster, but the one of the other two big ones. Somebody help me out. But they didn't pay him what it is on paper because it's all about that guaranteed money. But the Bengals think, oh, we took care of our offense. But what about the defense? Because right now, you can't stop anybody. Last year, Burrow's in shootouts all the time. And then if you start 1-3, 1-4, there goes your season. I thought about putting the Bengals down as one of the 5 AFC teams to look at their big games, and I decided to go with the Steelers instead. simply because the Bengals are on a lot of these schedules. They're going to play the Steelers twice this year. They're playing the Browns. They're playing the Ravens. And the Ravens are tomorrow. And the Ravens, Bills, Lions, Chiefs, Bengals, Packers, just to name a few. Lamar Jackson, you will earn it this year. Bengals, get Hendrickson in camp. The last thing I will hit on, because it's amazing to me how some stories slide through the cracks. And the Dallas Cowboys, they haven't done squat since 1997. Nothing. No Super Bowls, no titles, no nothing. Yet, they are the most valuable franchise in all of sports. And when the other day a team like the Lakers in the NBA, which those teams are far less than an NFL team, sells for $10 billion, the Cowboys have got to be worth 13 or 14 if Jerry Jones was to sell. Despite the fact that almost 30 years have gone by since the Cowboys have done anything. Any other city, any other fan base, with the exception of maybe the Steelers or the Packers, they would have stopped coming. There would be no waiting list for season tickets, but yet there is. And one of the most entertaining things that I get to do every week is there's a lot of Cowboys fans that love to post their overreactions to losses. It's so much fun. Why do I go? Don't know why I spend this money, but I'll be back next week. That's who Cowboys fans are. And so Jerry Jones, in kind of his opening training camp podcast or live show for the, I'm assuming it's the local radio station because they had kind of the whole setup, basically started talking about the heat that he's been getting for not getting Micah Parsons signed, sealed, and delivered to a gigantic contract. A lot of people think that he deserves more than Myles Garrett, and Garrett got a humongous deal in the offseason. But Jerry Jones stepping in and once again saying, hey, just because we sign them or just because we pay them doesn't mean they're going to be here. He missed a bunch of games. I signed another guy, highest paid player at his position, and he got hurt. His name was Dak Prescott. What? You're throwing your boy under the bus? You're throwing your boy, your quarterback, your $60, $70 million man under the bus for injury at the start of training camp? Jerry, for some reason, his entire ownership career has done just good enough of a job to have good teams and to have good quarterbacks. But they've never been good enough. They've never had that killer instinct. They've never had it. Whether it was Tony Romo, whether it was Dak Prescott, those guys were really good until they got to the playoffs. And then you're dropping field goals that would have won games. You're getting hurt prior. Then you've got Green Bay coming to town 2 years ago and just wiping the floor with you in the playoffs. But yet still worth well over $10 billion. So Jerry Jones, it's almost like his ego will not allow him to just be present, will not allow him to do what a lot of great owners do. And that is take a step back, find a really good football person to run your team, and you just enjoy the ride, which is what I would do if I was a multi-billionaire that owned an NFL team. Find a really smart guy that understands the salary cap and get out of the way. But instead, Jerry runs everything. He makes the draft picks. His son is a senior VP. So what are you supposed to do? It'll be interesting to see if Parsons does not get this deal done. What does that look like moving forward for that Cowboys defense? Because he is a difference maker. You know when he is on the field. You know when he is not on the field. And right now, he believes he is owed a lot of money. He believes he should be the highest paid pass rusher in the entire NFL. It sounds like to me Jerry Jones does not believe that. Does not believe that. TJ Watt just became the highest paid non-quarterback in the entire NFL. An average of $41 million per season. Parsons wants more than that on average. He wants at least $42 million per year. It wasn't that long ago that $20 million a year was high for a quarterback, was high for a position player, a talent position. But now we're talking 30, 40, 50, 60 million dollars because of revenue sharing. It's going to be a fun season. We're going to be all over it. We're going to put out on social media. We want to know from you how much content, because we only have so much bandwidth, do you want? We are tossing around doing a Sunday morning show. Right now, we do Monday through Friday. That is intentional because so many places try to do shows that mean nothing. You do them, 300-400 views on a Saturday morning. Means nothing. Make it impactful. We have so many shows between sports and wrestling that we got to be very smart. So what do you guys want? Do you want a primetime game for Mondays and Thursdays? Do you want a primetime show for Sundays? We are still trying to decide what that is going to look like. When we do, we'll put that schedule out. But you guys have been amazing. You tune in for all of our stuff. We continue to grow every single day, and I cannot thank you guys enough. As I get out of here, do not forget every single weekday on Channel 156, Sirius XM, Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7, my new radio show, Off the Ropes. Today it's me and Tommy Dreamer. Weekday wagers at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on this YouTube channel. And as always, check out Coach and Bro Show. Mondays and Thursdays, we taped yesterday our Stadium show, which airs on Stadium, 11 p.m. Eastern Time every Wednesday night and 6 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday morning. That's going to do for now. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening on the Believe Network. For Producer Man behind the scenes, I am the Coach. We will see you tomorrow on the one and only Coach and Company, the podcast.